The whisper from the Void Commander Elena Vasquez floated in the observation deck of Titan 7, watching Saturn's rings shimmer in the distant sunlight. The Deep Space Monitoring Station had been her home for 18 months, and the view never got old, but today felt different. Today, the universe seemed to be holding its breath. The communication array beneath her feet hummed with constant activity, listening to the cosmic background radiation, cataloging radio bursts from distant galaxies, and searching for any sign that humanity wasn't alone. Elena had spent 12 years in the service, and in all that time, they had found nothing but silence. Commander Vasquez, to the primary monitoring station, came the voice over the intercom. Dr. Marcus Chen sounded excited, which was unusual for the normally reserved. Zenaling. Elena pushed off from the observation window and glided through the station's corridors toward the central hub. The monitoring station buzzed with activity. Dr. Chen stood hunched over a console, his dark hair falling across his forehead as he studied the displays. Lieutenant Sofia Rodriguez sat at the tactical analysis station, her fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. Chief Engineer Thomas Webb had abandoned his usual post in the engine room and was now crowded around Chen's workstation. "What do we have, Marcus?" Elena asked, settling into her command chair. Chen looked up, his eyes bright with excitement. "We've detected an artificial signal, Commander. It's definitely not natural cosmic radiation or any known human transmission." Elena felt her heart skip. "How certain are you?" "Completely certain," Chen replied, pulling up a three-dimensional representation of the signal. "The pattern is too complex and too regular to be anything but artificial intelligence. And Elena, it's coming from the Proxima Centauri system, the closest star to Earth." Elena studied the waveform patterns dancing across the display. "Any idea what it says?" Chen shook his head. "The mathematical structure is unlike anything I've ever seen. It's not based on binary code or any human communication protocol. But there's something else, something that makes me think this isn't just a random transmission." Rodriguez looked up from her station. "Commander, I've been analyzing the signal, strength, and transmission patterns. This isn't a general broadcast. It's directional, aimed specifically at our solar system." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. "They know we're here." "It appears so," Chen said. "And based on the power requirements needed to send a signal this far, they have technology that's significantly more advanced than ours." Webb scratched his beard thoughtfully. "If they're more advanced than us, why are they contacting us? What could they possibly want from humanity?" Elena stood up and walked to the main display. The signal continued its complex dance across the screen, beautiful and alien. "There's only one way to find out. Marcus, how long do you need to decode this?" Chen considered the question. "If I work around the clock and use all our processing power, maybe 72 hours. But Elena, I'll need help. This is beyond what any one person can handle." "You'll have whatever you need," Elena assured him. "Sophia, I want you to work with Marcus on the tactical implications. If this is a first contact scenario, we need to understand what we might be dealing with." Rodriguez nodded. "Already on it, Commander. I'm running probability assessments on various contact scenarios." Webb raised his hand. "What about Earth Command? Shouldn't we report this immediately?" Elena hesitated. Protocol demanded that any potential alien contact be reported to Earth Command within 6 hours. But she also knew that once the bureaucrats got involved, the scientific discovery would be buried under layers of military and political considerations. "We'll report it," she decided, "but not until we have something concrete to report." I want to know what this message says before we hand it over to the politicians. The next 3 days passed in a blur of caffeine, mathematical equations, and breakthrough moments. Chen worked tirelessly, his initial excitement gradually giving way to focused determination. Rodriguez provided tactical analysis and probability assessments. Webb kept their systems running at peak efficiency, rerouting power from non-essential systems to boost their processing capacity. Alina found herself sleeping in the command center, unwilling to leave even for a few hours. The signal continued its steady transmission, never wavering, never stopping. Whatever was sending it had incredible persistence. On the morning of the 4th day, Chen suddenly straightened up from his workstation. "I've got it," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Alina hurried over to his station. "What does it say?" Chun's face was pale. "It's a distress call, Alina. They're asking for help." The main display filled with translated text, the alien mathematics converted into human language. Alina read the message aloud to the young species of the 3rd planet. "We are the Cathara of the water world that circles the star you call Proxima Centauri. We have watched your electromagnetic signals for many cycles and learned of your nature. You are warriors born from a world of storms and predators, survivors of a planet that tests its children with violence and hardship. We call you the Deathworlders, for you have thrived where we would perish in moments. We reach out to you now in our darkest hour. The Void Reapers have found us. They come with ships of metal and weapons of plasma, destroying everything in their path. 7 worlds have fallen to their hunger. We are next. We are not warriors. We have never known war. Our world is peaceful, our people gentle. We grow our cities from living coral, sing our histories into the crystal memories of our ancestors, and have never raised weapons against any living thing. We cannot fight these destroyers, but you can. You who have survived the death world. You who have conquered your own violent nature while retaining your strength. You are our only hope. The Void Reapers will reach our world in 120 of your days. If there is mercy in your hearts, if there is honor in your spirits, please help us. We offer nothing but our friendship and our gratitude. We have no weapons to trade, no strategic resources to bargain with. We can only ask for your help because it is right, because the strong should protect the weak, because in the vastness of space, all thinking beings are precious. The coordinates of our world are embedded in this transmission. We will keep sending this message until the Void Reapers arrive or until help comes. We hope you will come. We hope you will be our salvation." The command center fell silent. Alina stared at the message, feeling the weight of an entire civilization's hope pressing down on her shoulders. These weren't conquerors or traders or explorers. They were victims, calling out to the one species they thought might be able to help them. Rodriguez broke the silence. "Commander, we need to contact Earth Command immediately. This changes everything." Alina nodded, but her mind was already racing ahead to the challenges they would face. "Marcus, how certain are you about the translation?" Chen double-checked. His work, the mathematical basis, is solid. The Cathara use a form of quantum encrypted communication that's incredibly sophisticated. They've been monitoring our broadcasts for decades, maybe longer. They know more about us than we know about them. "And the timeline?" Alina asked. 120 days, Rodriguez confirmed. Not much time to mount any kind of response. Webb looked up from his engineering console. "Commander, there's something else. I've been analyzing the signal's carrier wave. The Cathara aren't just sending this message to us. They're broadcasting it to at least 12 other star systems, Alina felt a chill. They're asking everyone for help. And so far, Chen added. Grimly, we're the only ones who have responded. I've been monitoring for any reply signals to the other systems. Nothing. We might be their only hope. Alina stood up and walked to the observation window. Saturn's rings continued their eternal dance, beautiful and serene. But somewhere out there, an entire civilization was counting down their final days, hoping that the violent species from the dangerous world would choose to help them. The decision felt enormous, but Alina knew there was really no choice at all. Humanity had spent centuries dreaming of first contact, imagining what it would be like to meet another intelligent species. They had never imagined it would come as a cry for help. Send the message to Earth Command, she ordered. Priority Alpha transmission. Tell them we have confirmed first contact with an alien species, and they need our help. Rodriguez began composing the transmission. What do you think Earth's response will be? Alina smiled grimly. I think they're going to find out what Death are really capable of. As the transmission raced toward Earth at the speed of light, Alina continued to stare out at the stars. In 4 months, humanity would either save their first alien friends or watch them die. The thought of doing nothing was unbearable. Somewhere in the Proxima Centauri system, the Cathara were waiting. And for the first time in human history, the fate of another species rested in humanity's hands. The age of isolation was over. The age of responsibility had begun. The Deathworlder fleet assembles. Fleet Admiral James Harrison stood before the largest war council in human history. The emergency session had been called within hours of receiving the transmission from Titan 7, and now representatives from every major nation and space command filled the underground chamber beneath Geneva. The weight of the decision before them was unlike anything humanity had ever faced. Ladies and gentlemen, Harrison began, his weathered face serious as he addressed the assembly. We stand at a crossroads. For the first time in human history, we have received a direct communication from an alien species, and they're asking for our help. The holographic display behind him showed the Cathara message, translated into dozens of languages. President Maria Santos of the United Earth Federation leaned forward in her chair. Admiral, what are our capabilities? Can we actually help them? Harrison nodded to his aide, who activated the tactical display. We have been developing our deep space fleet for the past decade. Currently, we have 43 combat-capable vessels, ranging from light cruisers to heavy battleships. Our experimental quantum drive technology could get us to Proxima Centauri in approximately 9 days. Director Chen Wei of the Asian Space Coalition stood up. That's cutting it very close. The Cathara have less than 4 months, which is why we need to make a decision today, Harrison replied. Every day we delay is a day less we have to prepare. General Sarah Mitchell, commanding officer of the Mars Defense Force, raised her hand. Admiral, what do we actually know about these Void Reapers? Are we walking into a trap? Dr. Marcus Chen, who had been brought from Titan 7 to brief the Council, activated another display. Based on the Kithara's message and our analysis of their technology, the Void Reapers appear to be a nomadic species that attacks peaceful worlds for resources. They've destroyed 7 planets already. 7 entire worlds, whispered Ambassador Lu Zhong from the lunar colonies. How is that even possible? Chun's expression grew grim. The Cathara described them as using massive ships and plasma weapons. They don't negotiate or communicate. They simply arrive, destroy, and harvest whatever they want. President Santos stood up. The question before us is simple. Do we risk human lives to save aliens we've never met? The chamber erupted in debate. Some argued that humanity had no obligation to intervene in alien conflicts. Others insisted that helping the Cathara was a moral imperative. Harrison let the discussion continue for several minutes before calling for order. "I understand the arguments on both sides," he said, "but I want you to consider something. The Cathara didn't have to contact us. They could have faced their fate in silence. Instead, they reached out to us specifically because they believed we would help. They called us Deathworlders, warriors. From a dangerous planet, they see something in humanity that they think makes us special." Captain Diana Park, commander of the EU's Resilience, spoke from the back of the chamber. "Admiral, my crew is ready. We've been training for deep space operations for years. This is what we built the fleet for." Colonel Miguel Santos, no relation to the president, stepped forward. "The Marine Corps has been preparing for the possibility of alien contact. We have specialized equipment and training protocols. We can do this." Harrison felt a surge of pride as he looked around the chamber. Despite the fear and uncertainty, he could see the determination in their faces. Humanity had always been at its best when facing impossible odds. "I propose we put it to a vote," Harrison said. "All in favor of launching a rescue mission to help." The Cathara hands went up around the chamber. Harrison counted carefully. All opposed. A few hands rose, but not many. "The motion carries," Harrison announced. "We're going to save the Cathara." The next 2 weeks were a blur of activity. Every shipyard in the solar system worked around the clock to prepare the fleet. The experimental quantum drives were installed on every vessel. Weapons systems were upgraded. Supplies were loaded. Marines trained for zero-gravity combat against unknown alien technology. Harrison established his command center aboard the UES Determination, a massive battleship that would serve as the fleet's flagship. Captain Park's Resilience would lead the advanced scout group. Colonel Santos's Marines were distributed across the fleet, ready for whatever they might encounter. Dr. Chen worked tirelessly to establish better communication with the Cathara, using the quantum communication technology reverse-engineered from their message. He managed to create a real-time communication link across the 4 light-years to Proxima Centauri. The first direct conversation with an alien took place on a Tuesday morning. Harrison stood in the communication center as the quantum transmitter activated. The display flickered, and suddenly they were looking at their first living alien. The Cathara who appeared on screen was unlike anything they had expected. It stood nearly 8 feet tall, with a graceful, elongated form that seemed to flow like water. Its skin was a deep blue-green, covered in intricate patterns that shifted and changed as it moved. Large, gentle eyes dominated its face, and when it spoke, its voice was like music. "I am called Harmony of Tides," the alien said, its words translated by Chun's computer system. "I speak for the Cathara Council of Depths. We are grateful beyond measure that you have answered our call." Harrison stepped forward. "I am Fleet Admiral James Harrison of the United Earth Federation. We're coming to help you." Harmony of Tides patterns shifted to brighter colors. "The Deathworlders truly come. We had hoped but feared to believe. Your species is known to us. Through your broadcasts, you sing of war and conflict, yet also of love and sacrifice. We did not know if you would help those who are not your own kind. We help those who need help," Harrison replied simply. "Can you tell us more about the Void Reapers?" The alien's patterns darkened. They are the opposite of life. Where we create, they destroy. Where we grow, they harvest. They have no home world, only great ships that move between stars. They take what they need and leave only death behind. Dr. Chen leaned forward. How many ships are we talking about? There. Fleet numbers in the hundreds, Harmony of Tides replied. Each ship is larger than your greatest vessels. They are protected by energy shields and armed with weapons that can crack the crust of a planet. The communication center fell silent. Harrison felt the weight of the challenge before them. They were taking 43 ships to fight hundreds of enemy vessels that were larger and more powerful than anything humanity had ever built. Admiral Harmony of Tides continued, "We understand if you choose to turn back. We would not blame you. The Void Reapers are a force that even the great civilizations of the galaxy fear." Harrison looked around at his officers. He saw fear in their faces, but also determination. They had come too far to turn back now. "We're not turning back," Harrison said firmly. "We'll be there in 75 days. Hold on until then." The aliens' patterns shifted to brilliant gold. "We will hold. The Deathworlders come, and we will have hope." The quantum transmission ended, leaving the communication center in silence. Harrison turned to his officers. "You heard the odds. Anyone who wants to transfer to a supply ship and return to Earth can do so with no shame." Not a single person moved. Captain Park smiled. "Admiral, we didn't come this far to back down now. Besides, the Void Reapers haven't met Deathworlders before. They don't know what we're capable of." Colonel Santos nodded. "My Marines are ready for whatever comes. We've been the underdogs before." Dr. Chen looked up from his communication equipment. "I've been analyzing the Kithra's biological data. They're telling the truth about being peaceful. Their entire physiology is adapted for a world without conflict. They literally cannot fight." "Then we'll fight for them," Harrison said. "All ships, prepare for quantum jump. We have a civilization to save." The human fleet activated their quantum drives simultaneously. Space around them twisted and folded, and suddenly they were racing through dimensions that existed beyond normal space-time. The journey to Proxima Centauri, which would have taken thousands of years at light speed, compressed into a matter of weeks. During the journey, Harrison received regular updates from Harmony of Tides. The Void Reapers had begun their approach to the Cathara system. Long-range sensors detected massive ships emerging from the depths of space. The attack would begin. Soon, Admiral Harmony of Tides reported during one of their final communications, "Our sensors detect your fleet approaching. The patterns of your ships are like nothing we have ever seen. They radiate an energy that speaks of violence and protection combined." Harrison nodded. "We're still 72 hours out. Can you hold that long? We will try." The first void. "Reaper scouts have entered our outer system. They are magnificent in their terribleness. Ships like dark metal mountains, bristling with weapons." The communication flickered and died. Harrison stared at the empty screen, knowing that the next time they spoke to the Cathara, it would be in the middle of a war zone. "All ships, battle. Stations," he ordered. "We're about to find out what Deathworlders are really made of." The human fleet emerged from quantum space at the edge of the Proxima Centauri system. Immediately, their sensors were overwhelmed by the scope of the battle taking place. Hundreds of massive alien vessels surrounded the blue-green world that was home to the Cathara. Energy weapons lit up the darkness of space like a deadly aurora. "My God," whispered Captain Park over the communication channel. "Look at the size of those ships." Harrison studied the tactical display. The Void Reaper vessels were indeed massive, some stretching over 5 kilometers in length. But they were also spread out, focused on bombarding the planet's surface rather than defending against external threats. "They're not expecting us," Harrison realized. "They've never been challenged before." Colonel Santos's voice crackled over the radio. "Admiral, my Marines are ready. Just get us close enough." Harrison smiled grimly. The Void Reapers had destroyed 7 worlds unopposed. They had never faced an enemy that fought back. They were about to learn what happened when Deathworlders came to war. "All ships, attack formation," Harrison ordered. "Let's show them what Earth's children can do." The human fleet accelerated toward the battle, their weapon systems charging, their crews ready to fight for people they had never met. In the depths of space, the age of human isolation was ending in fire and fury. The Cathara had called for help. The Deathworlders had answered.